What's up, guys? We are doing more Gold Division round of 16 Cycle 6 stuff, as we've got Coollo taking on HpF Factory. Coollo, bit of a newer team, mishmash of some other players. Archie Tiger bouncing around a little bit, finding a new squad. Calamane was on...
Tang Sang Pang, I think?
Yes, that sounds right. That definitely does sound right. Marcus Moy was on Twisted Fusion. No.
No, Doka.
Yes. This guy. We got Snowy, who is doing everything right because apparently I forget all this shit, and this is a very, very fast banning phase, so let's go right into the game. Parasite and Dr. Pulsar, first two bans from Archie Tiger, Hellborn, take out Cthulhu and Swiftblade in a pretty typical set of bans. As Doctor initial ban, a little bit strange to me, but I don't know, maybe HpF plays that.
Maybe. We actually did that versus Sync Esports, I think, in our second game versus them. Because Prince Maxi plays it pretty well, and it's just one of those heroes that are really damn annoying to play versus.
Indeed. All that damn jumping around and very often requires a specific counter pick to deal with that hero. Which
yeah, exactly.
I'm kind of surprised. Moira's been brought up a couple of times as a possible Doctor counter, and we've seen Moira a couple of times, but not all that often. And I'm kind of surprised.
I think Moira can work.
Yeah. Anyway,
but yeah, she's a
picks.
support, so it's tricky.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a situational thing. I don't think too many teams are particularly comfortable with using her quite yet, so that's probably why we don't see her as often against Oogie as well. Seems like that would work very well.
I think she could be good versus push lineups. For example, Ophelia with all her creeps can't really escape, and you just throw her down to ultimate, and then you set it up with a Magnus ultimate or something. So I think she got potential at least.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely been tried out, especially by Sync too, so the top team picking her up occasionally, that usually indicates that she has some potential and just perhaps has not been explored as much as other heroes due to her relative novelty. But again, they are just busting through this thing. Only 1 second of extra time used, so Kraken, Tempest, and Rhapsody, the first three picks on Coollo's side, and HpF Factory going to counter with the Magnus NG combo as well as Ophelia, so strong team fight from both teams. And some slightly better push, well, maybe not even. They have Tempest and Rhapsody on the Legion team, so Ophelia might be successfully countered, but not really that much gank orientation going on either side. Looks like they're both looking for strong initiation and team fight and push lineups. So
yeah, if this was me, I would pick up Keeper and Soul Reaper and just go 100% push.
Yep, I've started to realize that. Who was it? Reason that banned out the Soul Reaper after you guys tried the Tempest Rhapsody in the first three picks, and they were like,
about right.
Yeah, we see that coming. I like the strategy, and it's worked very, very well when you've managed to pull off that draft. You had a 14-minute win against somebody, right? Izu or something?
Yeah, more or less. Took down Ogre last cycle as well, and Diamond with it, so that was a little bit more of a competition, I guess. So, I mean, just showing that it works versus everyone, more or less.
Yeah. And
but
no, sorry, keep going.
Yeah, no, I was thinking, I think that the series versus Isu, by the way, I think you just casted that with Clockmuck. I'm not 100% sure. It was just something that came to me. It's impossible.
No, it is possible.
Yeah, it's possible. Because it came to me afterwards, I drafted it versus Ogre, that I was actually doing it versus Clockmuck, who I've already seen that strategy. But somehow it worked out anyway, so...
Well, the thing that I like about it particularly is that you don't go all-in push with the first three picks. You typically take heroes that can be strong push heroes like Tempest and Rhapsody, but also do other things well. So if you get banned out, or if the other team picks good counter push, then you can deviate from that strategy and make more of a team fight oriented lineup or a gank oriented lineup or something like that. And if you... So it doesn't lock you into the push in the first three picks, and obviously that's pretty damn critical because all-in push lineups can be countered if you show them too early. So yeah, maybe Cluck just didn't see it coming or forgot about that game, or I don't know what, but yeah.
Yeah, neither. It's pretty hard to see it coming, actually.
Right. Yeah.
Like you just mentioned.
Anyway.
Okay, Wretched Hag.
Yeah, Wretched Hag, the 4th pick for this Hellborn side, and the Legion side going to go with Pharaoh as well. So taking away the Tempest counter from the Hellborn team. Second stage of bands were Madman, Drunken Master, and Warbeast from Archie Tiger, Keep the Forest, Silhouette, and Pebbles from Masatoshi on the Hellborn side. And solid bands on both sides. Drunken, not a huge fan of that hero, but other than that, makes a fair bit of sense. And we're waiting the last pick for the Legion side, looking like they're going to go for a short laner. And I hope it's not Hellbringer, because that wouldn't make a lot of sense. No.
Kraken is pretty good versus both Kraken and Tempest, so I think that was the reason for why they got rid of it. I mean, he can ultimate away the Glacial Blast, then he can jump out of Kraken ultimate, and he can cancel Tempest through BKB as well, so
right.
I think it was a good ban. But I have no clue why they picked up the Pharaoh. Feels wasted, in my opinion.
I think they're probably looking to run 2 solo lanes and figuring that Pharaoh and Kraken may give them a little less transparency in terms of what the laning phase is going to be. And I don't know, Pharaoh's a strong initiator, and he will be able to do some stuff in the background to perhaps lock down the Magmas if they can manage to get vision of him channeling and or waiting to stun something.
I fear that this is I fear that he's gonna melt in 2 seconds though. Because versus an Ophelia it's really hard to play, especially since you don't deal a lot of damage with Pharaoh. Versus that Ophelia heal, you're never gonna be able to get a pick off, at least not on your own. And even if you're a few together, like I don't really see any gank potential in the Legion side. I guess it's the Pharaoh wall combined with the Soul Stealer ultimate that they're looking for, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, they do have some pretty fantastic initiation and secondary initiation. They got Kraken and Pharaoh to start fights off, and then Tempest and Soulstealer to follow up, and some defensive capability with Rhapsody. So, in 5v5 engagements, I feel like this Legion team should have a pretty well-built strategy. And
yeah, definitely.
Hellborn are going to counter that pretty well themselves with the Flux Engie and Magmus and Wretched Hag and Ophelia. So, all the heroes in this game, pretty significant teamfight ultis.
Yeah, I think pretty much everyone has a significant ultimate for team fights. Maybe not Pharaoh, maybe a little bit more into the gank, but I mean, he can still do quite a lot with that wall placement.
Yeah.
To shut off reinforcements or something similar.
My draft took a pretty long time to load it up. I don't know about yours, but I just loaded in, so I'm 116, 115, 114, 113 in the end game, 12. I have to resync 11, 10.
Yeah, I'm good.
Right.
I paused 2 seconds or something.
It's been a little bit iffy for me recently about post-draft loads. They seem to be taking longer than they should. Maybe my computer needs some upgrades. It's pretty old. Anyway, so they picked up Wretched Hag. That looks like it will be a short lane hero, which, in my opinion, is probably the better role for Hag. The only thing I'm really concerned about with the Hellborn lineup is they are almost exclusively magic damage focused, especially in the early game. They really do not have much right-click presence. Hag will provide a little bit of that as the game goes on, but they're not going to be able to compete with the Soul Stealer. So if the Legion side starts to pick up Shrunken Heads, and I suspect that they will, I'm a little bit concerned about how HpF's lineup is going to progress into the late game.
Yeah, if they reach a stage of the game when Kraken Soul Stealer gets their BKB, then it's gonna be really damn tough to do anything.
Right.
Ophelia is not gonna have any impact whatsoever, and neither is Engineer. So it's gonna be all about this Hellborn team putting on a lot of aggression early on and just trying to end the game before they hit the BKB mark.
Right. And I'm honestly a little bit concerned about their ability to do that as well. I mean, yeah, is Rhapsody in trouble? I think she might be. Staccatos are there. Keg stun is going to not be dodged. She almost did, and now Rhapsody is completely dead. No way she's getting out of that one. Bloodlust goes to the Magmas. And looking like we're going to see not only a long lane dual lane, but an aggressive jungle Ophelia, which to me is a little bit curious. I've been told Ophelia is much better in the Hellborn Woods. And obviously they're running a pseudo tri-lane here, so that's the objective, not necessarily to get Ophelia a great farm, but it still seems a little bit strange that they take her out of a more comfortable position.
Yeah, I think they took the decision after the sort of Soul Stealer pick, and I think it's the right one, because right now, the Legion team is not going to be able to do anything versus this offensive tri-lane. Tempest is most likely going to be forced out and maybe even go to the Hellborn Forest. It depends on how offensive Ophelia is going to be and what kind of creeps she can get. If she gets a Catman, for example, there is nothing that Rhapsody and Tempest are going to be able to do to stop her, especially with those early marchers.
Right. And
Courier.
Soul Stealer. Oh,
out walking at the bot lane for some reason. No, he's running back.
Perhaps he can get chased down a little bit by the Minotaur and Engineer, but nothing really coming of that. But yeah, if you can shut down Soulstealer early, prevent him from getting the souls up, then his laning presence becomes very, very iffy. And without a good start, he can't take Ancients, and then he can't get his Portal Key, his BKB, and he can get shut down pretty easily. Especially against a lineup that has potentially 3 stuns with this Minotaur. And he has no getaways.
Yeah. Okay. Rhapsody didn't get a kill for the Minotaur, luckily. And now he got his Catman, so he should be fine. Tempest is doing a really good job, by the way. He's level 3 already, and Ophelia is already level 1. That's kind of like the only risk that you're facing when you're trying to man up with an Ophelia, that you're not going to get enough levels.
Right. And you can see Soulstealer in this bottom lane already being forced back pretty heavily. Playmaker on the Magnus at nearly 500 GPM, and Soulstealer's getting dove. Gets slowed down a little bit, but not in range for that level 2 Lava Surge from Magnus. We'll back him off, but Marcus is going to have a hell of a time in this bottom lane, and I don't expect him to get too much for a while. The other thing that is a bit of an issue here is they may not be able to stack very successfully for the Soulstealer because of Ophelia and Tempest being in this Legion Woods. And so his recovery potential, even when he gets his Demon Hands up, may be a little bit less than what Soulstealer's used to.
Yeah, he's really good at recovering though, so I think it's gonna depend a lot on how Kraken and Pharaoh actually manage this on their lanes.
Yep. No doubt. And speaking of them, Kraken in the middle lane going up against Flux. Probably an advantage for Mr. Flux here, and actually they're pretty damn even at this point. Flux ahead by about 1 creep kill. Gonna pull Kraken in and do some damage with the release, and Kraken's like, yeah, I got a splash too, buddy. But in the meantime, no, they're gonna kill Ophelia in the woods. Looks like they're gonna try to chase down the Engineer as well. The Invis Rune on Tempest being used very successfully in the Minotaur Stomp from Ophelia. Gonna be able to get that hero and Engineer out of there, as well as the creep. Nice gank. See if Ophelia transitions to her own woods after being chased out a little bit.
Doesn't look like it.
Nope.
It's a start.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised by how Hellborn is running this. I mean, Engineer is not on the lane at any time. He's just running around with Ophelia in the forest. I feel like they should focus a lot more on actually just killing the Soulstealer over and over.
Right,
like they're doing now.
That's exactly what they're gonna do. Kegstun actually pushes him away. That was not great. And I don't know about that. The reason the Magnus NG combo is so good, actually missing a top kill. Wow.
What? I have no idea how that happened.
What? Yeah, I'm super confused.
He hasn't even used the Hellfire. I mean, it's still up. It was only the rocket.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Alright, I don't know. Must have been an offensive blink into a mana battery or something from Catlomain, but I mean, he got 500 HP already, so it couldn't have been that low. Yeah, right. Very confusing.
And Ophelia going to slow down Tempest a little bit here with the Tornado. He also has a Haste Rune. Stun goes on to the Vulture Lord, and that's not going to matter. Tempest definitely going to fall. Staccatos are not going to be able to slow down Ophelia for long enough. Flux is wasting a bunch of time chasing this Tempest down, and there's no reason for him to be here. So I really do not like that play from Flux. But it looks like they're going to dive here as well. Kegstun is going to connect on Rhapsody and push him in the correct direction this time, so they get a couple of kills out of it. Flux trying to look to dive the tower. Vulture Lord going to take this. We'll pull Soulstealer back in, so now Flux starting to make some use, and Marcus Moy being dove very heavily. He is going to die, and Hellborn should be able to get out of this without any casualties, and they do, so very, very good engagement once again for Hot Fought Factory as they take out not only the jungler, but both of the short lane heroes, and this Soulstealer is suffering now. So is Hag.
Yeah, she is. I'm not sure how, but somehow she's losing. Either. I mean, she's getting auto-harassed by Rocket or something. I mean, she went for Marcher, she should have gone for a bottle. If you're say a Flame versus a Pharaoh who like maxes the Rocket, always go for the bottle. So Catlomain just playing superior, I guess.
He's got level 2 in Sonar Scream over level 3 Haunt, which confuses me a lot.
I think that's fine. I think Haunt level 2 is enough, but oh wait.
Yeah, middle lane they do manage to kill the Flux, and Tempest comes in for the gank, so and kills all over the place.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's fine with Haunt level 2. You don't like Sonar Scream is gonna be the farming tool later on, so you're gonna need it as soon as you like leave the lane. But Yeah, I'm really not sure what happened. I mean, maybe he didn't get any region pulled whatsoever. Pharaoh got like 6 bites or something, but still, it shouldn't be this one-sided.
Right. Yeah, even without pooled region, I feel like Hag should win this lane pretty much no matter what. I mean, she has Blink to escape walls and Hellfire. Potentially, those stuns can be difficult to evade with the Blink animation timing. But in general, I would not expect Pharaoh to kill her at the very least before level 6. It's one thing if he can catch her out, force the Blink, then Wrath the Pharaoh onto her and trap her, but without having access to the ultimate, feels like that shouldn't happen. Speaking of Hag in the top lane, she will blink off to the side, but they saw that. Blink. And the Wrath of Pharaoh going to come through and hit. Kraken is invis, obviously walking under the tower. Wrath of Pharaoh, they don't even need anything else. Cat Lo Main just finishing him off. That
blink was really bad.
Really bad. I have absolutely no idea what he thought was going to happen.
Like, she would have died anyway because of the rocket, obviously, as soon as it was off cooldown, but
right.
She could have bought a lot of time and at least not given assist money for the Kraken, for example.
And, well, Tempest transitioning to the Hellborn Woods as Ophelia does the same, actually. And this aggressive strat from Hot Foot Factory at least has not worked out particularly well in terms of the junglers. Oph at just 200 GPM, while Archie Tiger's been stopped and slowed a little bit, but still at 267 gold per minute, which is terrible for Tempest. It's not great, but he'll take it considering the amount he was contested. He's also got 2 levels on the Oath, who actually could be in trouble. Yeah, they're going to drop the ultimate. Ophelia is not going to die as the Elementals despawn, so that was a bit unfortunate. Actually, Rocket does finish her off. Ends up being a 1-for-1, but the Hellborn getting a nice engagement there and forcing a Tempest ultimate out, so that's not the worst for them. And probably actually favors them considering the jungle situation we were just talking about.
Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of pressure on Magnus now because he's literally the only one doing well here for the Hellborn team.
Flux is doing alright in the middle lane, but certainly not great. Missed stun.
Oh, he missed his, yeah, I saw that too. I mean, that was a free kill on Soul Stealer.
Probably.
A stun ulti, there would have been a kill.
Yeah.
He can still do it, I think, if he switches to...
He
I'm not sure.
On Steam Strength Boots right now. I don't think he'll have enough mana, even on Int Boots, to get both of them off.
It's gonna be close, at least. I think he almost has it.
I wouldn't be opposed to him just getting a mana pot right here and going for it.
Please, Pharaoh, or I mean, Magnus, switch Steam Boots so I can actually see.
Yeah.
No Rhapsody's here though, so...
Right. So.
Opportunity gone.
Although Magnus doesn't know that. The Hellborn Ward is in the bot river, but I don't think it spotted the Rhapsody rotation necessarily. And so if they go for this, they could find a little bit of a surprise. NG actually working his way around the back, so they're definitely going to go for it here. Here's the charge, but the eruption going to be stopped right there. And Solstice, there's still a little collapse, no access to his ultimate, but Magnus all of a sudden out of mana. He's trying to run away. They do manage to finish off Cat Lo Main once again. No, that's fair on the top lane. Not the Wretched Hag, I figured it was that. Anyway, Lewis Wilson coming out from Ophelia, and they're going to try to chase down this Engineer, but don't think they get him? Yeah, they will. Kraken coming in with the charge, and that helps kill Stupid Stew, aka Art of Fuck.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see that Flux didn't use his ultimate defensively earlier. I think he could have lived if Kraken wouldn't have hit that torrent plus charge.
Yeah, he was getting very close to getting into the tower.
Yeah. Okay, so... Yeah, and Hag finally got his best blast now. I actually skipped that at level 6 and 7. Which is right. Unless you're looking to take teamfights.
The Sonar Scream a little bit more mana efficient. Just overall damage out,
sure.
But so... Not a bad choice whatsoever, but the Tempest Elementals will be killed here, it looks like, as this tower damage may be enough. Magnus using the stun in will get hit with the Glacial Blast a couple of times, actually, as he broke the Steam Bath. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this tower get taken down. The question is, will it be denied?
Really don't think the Hellborn team should give this up. They are the offensive team that are looking to take this fight in, or I mean this game in the early game, so giving up a tower like this, when everyone is full HP on your team more or less, and have plenty of time to get down there is just plain stupid.
So it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Top lane actually going to put the Hellfire and the Mummy Walls on top of the Wretched Hag. They're causing the game all this time, and I wonder if that's something to do with Wretched Hag, because I think he might have DC'd. Anyway, bottom lane, they do manage to get the kill as well onto Magnus, and I'm kind of wondering... So we do obviously skip through the pauses, but I'm kind of wondering if this top lane as well. As Cat Lo Main dies, he was AFK. Okay.
No, it was probably yeah, Hag being up and Kettlemane killed him, and then Hellborn team got mad at him,
and then
went second
counter-killed him.
pause. Yeah.
So
Kettlemane was trying to make it as an excuse. Yeah.
perhaps a little bit of bad manners here on both sides, to be fair. As Ratchet Hag dying once again. Baby B did 0-3 at 3, 243 GPM. And you compare that to Kettlemane 300 gold per minute, that's really not something that should happen.
Nope. It's always hard to say in the middle of everything or in a game if someone is actually disconnected or if someone is just, I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on at the bottom, so I mean, it could have been that Hag was just having his eyes on that fight and like getting ready to port in, so you can't really blame the Pharaoh for that, I think.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, it's up to both teams, obviously, if they wanna, yeah, how they wanna proceed.
Yeah.
But 2 towers down, that's like a big no-no. There's no way that's allowed to happen. I mean, Rhapsody got his marches now only because of that. That's always a big deal.
And speaking of Rhapsody, they actually are making use of that additional ward slot. She is full up on items, but had enough space because of the additional ward slot. And top lane, they're going to go into the Pharaoh once again. Should be a pretty easy kill as Ophelia has the lockdown for the damage from Flux and Wretched Hag. And Kettlemane dying for a 3rd time in this top lane.
Really can't keep doing that. I know I've been spectating Kettlemane playing this Pharaoh before, and I remember something similar happening.
Yep.
Like, you need a ward up there, or you just need to like stay off the map and just make the entire Hellborn team afraid. Like, because every single time that you're showing a lane, I mean, the Legion team knows, or the Hellborn team knows for sure that, I mean, it's free to roam around.
And they're going to catch Engineer here with the Elite Kraken, but actually he might get out of this. This stun only going to hit 1 though, and they will eventually get the kill as Tempest has the last auto attack there. So a little bit of an issue there, I think, from Playmaker on that Magnus, as he really had the angle to hit both heroes, but could only see 1, I guess, and therefore only hit 1, probably resulted in the Engineer dying. Not too bad.
Yeah, Magnus are really low level. I would really like to see him farm a little bit more efficient, try to get 11 as fast as possible. I feel like he should be the highest level in this game, or maybe Hag, but since he didn't do very well against the Pharaoh.
Should probably be Flux, to be honest. He's 2-1 and 2, he had the solo mid, and he got a couple of hero kill experience things from that engagement bottom. Anyway, Pharaoh in the middle lane is going to fall. Tempest ultimate used, but absolutely no follow-up as the ports are coming in. By the time they come in, it's going to be over. They get the staccatos in the middle lane onto the Ophelia. They will kill her. Rhapsody in the background will prevent some damage, but they're going to go pull Kraken back in. Kegston going to keep him locked down, and he's dead. Flux ulti coming back, and Marcus Moy going to fall on that Soul Stealer. Looks like Tempest could be in a lot of trouble as well. Has the dot on him, and Hag looking for the blink. Angle is going to find it. Nope, TP away. Are they not going to be able to get this? No, they won't.
Oh,
that's painful. That's level 2 blink right there, having an extremely long cooldown, and Baby BK figuring it was better to wait for it and blink up to the high ground than just walk. That being a bit of a questionable decision. Well played from Orange
have overrun a Legion FOB.
Yeah, they shouldn't have taken that fight though. Seeing as Kraken ultimate was down and no one in his team was like nearby, just wasted 3 minutes more or less with that elemental void now as well. They're not going to be able to take that fight for quite some time, and this gives Hellborn a very nice opportunity to actually go bottom and take out that tier 1 tower, or maybe even do Kongor.
They do have access to the Magnus Eruption. He is nearly level 11, and he has a portal key. They also have the energy field and the newest blessing just coming off cooldown. So plenty of teamfight ultimates still available, even after the Bat Blast and Flux ultimate were used. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they group up and push something. Middle lane though, Flux could be jumped as the portal key is on Kraken as well. Wrathafar coming in onto him, release the Kraken right on top of that, and Flux is definitely going to fall. The question is, will they get anything out of this? Actually, Flux with the Astrolabe and the Ophelia heal still alive somehow, manages to eventually die. They're trying to chase down this Pharaoh. Baby Kid looking for the blink into the Sonar Scream. That's going to be a kill, and we'll see if Kraken can get out of this. Looks like he will, and the rest of the Legion side going to back off. Ends up being a 1-for-1.
So risky, still risky. They didn't have the elemental void, still decided to dive the tower even when they didn't have vision on the Magnus at that time. So that could have been an easy genocide for the Hellborn team if they just had one more player in position. Actually, bot lane.
Yep. And they're going to jump on top of the Soul Stealer and kill him pretty easily. So Marcus Moy farming up past the river with no well, they have a really deep ward of sight. I'm not sure that's helping. Anyway, middle lane, they are going to yo-yo to lock down Ophelia as well. They don't actually have enough damage to finish her off. Rhapsody ultimate will allow Kraken to get out of there. And actually, the Keg Stun does not stop her. Rhapsody does get hit by the energy field, though, and she will die. Kraken now actually made a lot of trouble as a result of the Hag coming into that fight. So they managed to pick off 2 heroes. And I guess Eruption was used to go bottom with Soul Stealer. Just seeing what's on cooldown, but yeah. So,
once again, Hellborn or Legion team being offensive when that is actually the Hellborn's role. I feel like they should switch this or switch what's it called? Like actions. Don't see any reason for why Legion would ever want to play offensive. They should just sit on their side, try to get the wards up. I mean, you see the ward of sights placed by Rhapsody, like you mentioned, the one at the top, or I mean the bottom, is very offensive, and I just don't get why you would want to do that when you have such a defensive team.
And you, especially because, I'd be okay with it anyway. Flux is going to get caught by the Wrath of the Pharaoh and the Mummy Walls. He should be falling here, but he is pretty damn tanky and has the Astral Limb, so he's living for a pretty long time. He can get a counter kill onto the Pharaoh, and now he's actually going to get killed by the neutral creep, so pretty fantastic thing. Marcus Point also going to go down. We have 3 heroes grouped up in this really small area. Release Crack going to be right on Ophelia's head, and she drops her ultimate, trying to survive as long as possible. The Elemental Void locking everybody down. There goes Ophelia. Engineer gets trapped as well, but not enough damage to finish him off. Tempest instead dies the Keg Stun. Kraken all of a sudden in a lot of trouble as the Ophelia minions doing work after Oak dies. That's going to be a kill, and in the sideline, actually, Adro gets picked up on the Rhapsody, as Ophelia Magnus finds him. So, genocide in favor of the Hellborn side, and once again, that's what you're talking about. The Legion team keeps trying to initiate and take these fights, and it's not going very well for them.
Nope, they don't even have the Astro on Tempest yet.
Right.
And it seems like he's actually going for PK because he had over 2k gold at that point, which is another mistake in my opinion. Because why would you want to go for PK when you're the defensive team? You need Astro, you need extra heal. You just need to sit behind the towers and try to turtle until your BKB pops on Soul Stealer.
I mean, like, what's a portal key gonna do for him right now anyway?
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, there is the energy field, there is Magnus portal key. I guess there's not. Okay, actually, speed up Talent now as well. So yeah, I feel like jumping in with a portal key is more suicide.
Right. I mean, that ulti is gonna be immediately cancelled, and then he's gonna die. But the Astrolabe, that could be really, really helpful.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like they're so far behind already, though.
Yeah.
That it might not even make a difference, but still a lot better than nothing. Wretched Hag actually going for a light brand, which I'm not a fan of.
I'm actually somewhat okay with it. I
would have liked it if they were going for the late game, if they were just trying to sit back and farm, if they didn't, or if like if they or if they had something else, like some kind of late game-ish strategy. Like a Tempest on their side or something. But right now I feel like they need to end the game, or like they need to go offensive.
Anyway, middle lane, Kraken once again going on the offensive. Energy field in the background, nice. Flux ultimate pulling everybody in and out of it. Ophelia gonna die. There goes Archtiger on the Tempest. Port away from Kraken is gonna be successful. No. Last auto attack does finish him off. Pharaoh getting pulled back in. The background Rhapsody dying as well. Now the Hellfire not gonna do nearly enough, and they managed to get 4 heroes dead for nothing. They do lose the mid tower, but once again, again and again and again, they're starting these fights, and
they are desperate, I guess. They're feeling the pressure for some reason, but like it's the wrong kind of way to deal with it. They should be looking for pickups in that case with that pull kill of Tempest, not go for offensive team fights on the Hellborn's side of the map. Especially with no elemental void up. Like, you're 4 people, you're trying to push a tower against a Magnus pull key and a Flux.
Right.
Like, what? Doesn't add up, unfortunately.
Nice D-ward here from Engineer. Just finds a ward that was just placed. Yeah, the thing that's actually bugging me a lot is both sides have such fantastic teamfight ultimates, and it seems like the Hellborns are being used collectively, while the Legion are basically just kind of like using them here and there in these small engagements, and they're not getting enough utility out of them because they're not using them on top of each other. Like, if they manage to get a Pharaoh Initiation into a Kraken Ultimate, into a Soul Burst, into a Tempest Hole, that would do a ton of damage. But one fight they're using the Tempest Hole, another fight they're using the Kraken Ultimate, a different fight they're using the Wrath of the Pharaoh and his stuff, and it's like, get some team play, get people working together, and your stuff will work a lot better.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the Hellborn team haven't gotten any offensive wards though. I mean, there have been plenty of opportunities when the Hellborn, or I mean, when the Legion team has been wiped off, and Engineer should have really tried to sneak up and just, yeah, get some wards up in the enemy forest.
Yeah, Twitch chat making a good point you acknowledged as well. Hag has 2 power supplies, which is wrong. Does nothing for you. It is not efficient stats. It is not going to give you additional charges. It's just a bad idea.
Would be pretty cool if the first one or the second one started to fill up after the first one had 15 charges.
I really doubt that would be very useful, but in mid-wars it could be cool.
It could. Yeah, you can get 6 Icon of the Goddess with 50 charges in mid-wars.
Yeah.
Immortal.
At that point, you might be really difficult to kill. The issue is you'd be doing like 4 damage, which would be a bit of a problem.
Yeah. You could be a walking ward, I guess.
Anyway, Hellborn gonna group up and push the bot tower. They also have picked up a barrier idol, so they're gonna do something against the magic damage in the team fights of this Legion side.
The Hellborn have overrun a
Hasn't really
Legion
been
FOB.
that big an issue yet, but they're going to address it. Speaking of this, they're going to initiate right into the Rhapsody. Tempest portal keys away, leaving his support to sit there and die, which he will do.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but why would they ever be in that position? I mean, Hellborn team, you just killed the tower and they were all missing on the map, or like they went away from the tower. Obviously they're going to come that way.
I have absolutely no idea how much duration was left on that teleports. That was not cancelled by the energy keg, but it must have been like a fraction of a second. So, Legion kind of pushing mid, get out of there safely, and looks like Kongor's going to be the next attempt from the Hellborn team. There's something else that I wanted to bring up in a complete... Oh, have you seen Soul Burst used once? I don't think I've seen him actually ulting this game.
I saw it once. It was when they jumped the flux over at their own entrance.
Right.
Pharaoh jumped in, and then Soul was like using his level 1 ultimate on range. Didn't do any damage whatsoever, so probably why we didn't notice, or why you didn't notice. But it was once, but it was ineffective. So.
And Kongor goes down. Legion's not going to take a tier 1 tower out of that, so not the worst trade, especially because they really couldn't do anything about that Kongor fight. So at least they got something out of it. And that's going to be the last tier 1 tower to be taken down on either side. And
got a Grimoire on Pressure Tag and a token, so she's gonna be dealing a lot of damage if he hits that level 3 Bat Blast. She's probably gonna melt everyone on the Legion team.
If you have an Invis Kraken running around looking for an opening, which he's not gonna take since he's on that backup.
For some reason there are actually 3 players up here farming the top lane. Talk about efficient farming.
No kidding.
From the Hellborn team, so they were a little bit lucky, actually.
If they didn't do that, they probably would have suffered at least 1 death, so not really the greatest play, but I guess it worked out.
It did.
Anyway, let's, that Hag Grimoire, I'm actually okay with it, because it doesn't really seem to be hurting them in these team fights. It's not like Coollo is really taking a huge advantage as a result of that. And it's going to allow her to keep up with the Soul Stealer for at least a little while, because without that, Soul Stealer should be able to massively take a late game advantage over this Russian Hag. And with a farming item like the Grimoire of Power, at the very least, Hag can stick into it into the late game. So I feel like it's a solid insurance policy, and it's not really hurting her, except for right now, where she's going to get jumped and killed. There goes the token. She will come right back up. The Hellfire's there, and the Tempest Hole even going to be used to lock her down. Her team is completely elsewhere, and actually in the background, Kraken puts the ultimate down, down to 4, but he dies, as that wasn't really the position he wanted to be in. So it's a 1-for-1 in favor of.
You know what would have been hilarious, by the way, during that time, if they would actually they had level 3 Flux ultimate. So if he timed it perfectly, or if he timed it well, I mean, it was obvious that Tempest was gonna ult because he was standing on top, and you know you can see the. The cast, what is it called, animation. So if Flux would have just ultimated before that happened, just before Hag would have spawned, I mean, he would have ultimated in the forest. But unfortunately that didn't happen.
Would that have done that, or would he have just walked over to where he intended to cast it?
Good question, actually. I'm not sure how it would work.
I think he might just have to like walk
yeah.
back over and then cast it where he intended to. But yeah, it might have saved Hag's life at the very least.
The Hellborn have
And I'll
overrun
take
the
a tier 2
Legion
top on
FOB.
Hellborn team. So that looked like a pretty serious miscommunication too in that team fight, because Hag was pushing that lane by herself while the rest of her team backed off, and like you could see that Wrath of the Pharaoh coming from a mile away.
Yep.
I'm really not sure what they thought they were doing there, but wasting the token.
Wouldn't say that the Legion team is in it this by any means. They're really far behind, but I feel like a Hellborn team should have already ended the game.
Yep.
With that lead that they had. I mean, they should just, I mean, they got a vision for it, obviously, they got all the money that they need. Just group up and take a team fight. I mean, they even had a token. There's no need to push that top tower. It's better to just go straight mid.
Yeah.
And just, like, completely force them out of their forest.
Yeah. That's what I would like to see, a lot more drinking in the forest. Actually, speaking of that, Marcus going to get caught here. He will pop the Energizer, tries to port. That does not work, as Magnus has the portal key. And they managed to get a pretty nice kill on Marcus, by not only getting him dead, but they force a TP out as well, so a bit of a bonus. And they have done a very good job of shutting the Soul Stealer down.
Yep. Something that I feel like teams should look into a little bit more is actually, like, now when the new ward slot is released or is up. First I hated it, but since I've gotten used to it, I just love it. It's perfect for so many like different kind of situations. Like, you can just send out wards to like your carry, your mid, for example, and they just place the wards for you all the time. So if you're as a support, just control the courier, for example, at times. Like, you can get your wards out on the map by doing so. Like, you don't actually have to run around and do it yourself. You can use the courier for it. So I feel like, I mean, Soul Stealer has been down here at the bottom pushing or farming the force for quite some time. I mean, just send him a ward and he can place it just as where he stands.
Right.
It's so easy.
I heard somebody else express the sentiment that the change isn't even going to help supports that much. It's much more impactful for suicides, considering they usually tend to have full inventories, but also want to put a ward down to give them some vision, or to block up the camp or something like that, block the pull. And having an extra ward slot for them is much more valuable.
The Hellborn have overrun
Yeah, the new
Legion
Invis,
FOB.
the Rot, Wild Rot,
Yeah.
is just, I mean, since that item made it into the competitive scene, the new ward slot
The
is a
Legion
must.
have overrun a Hellborn
Because
FOB.
you need Wild Rot on you all the time as a
Right.
support nowadays.
So it seems like those two things have worked well in conjunction. NG dropping some mines here. He's been doing that every so often. Just looking to get some damage out, and they're putting some pressure on this tier 3 tower. They won't actually back up. It's a bit of a fake back here. Magnus, I'm not sure if he has the memo. He's very, very far back. And they're going to jump in with Flux onto this Kraken, who charges away. Nice angle on the charge, actually. Energy Mine going to detonate. And Wretched Hag sitting in the front of this line. She does not have a token anymore. She's going to get hit by the splash. And Baby B-Kid playing very aggressively, considering he doesn't have a token. I don't really know what the heck's going on there. Was he DC'd?
I don't know. I mean, he must have been.
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't see any other explanation to it.
Yeah, I figured when you would DC, don't you just like automatically run back to base? Isn't it? I don't think you keep
do
doing
if you have. It's a setting that you manually set in your interface options. So some players have actually turned it off for some reason, because sometimes if you have like a shabby internet, you don't want your hero to run all the way back to the base. But like in competitive games, you need to do that.
Yeah, and I don't know. This is strange. You look at Wretched Hag. She's at 423 GPM with a Grimoire power. That's below Flux's farm and below Magnus's farm. That's really not something that should happen. Now, to be fair, Flux and Magnus are actually farming very well, so it's not purely on Hag. It's not just she's farming that badly, but this has been a weird game for Hag, to say the least.
Yep. And all the wards are down for the Hellborn team now.
That's true.
Or actually, they got
There's
one, but you should never get to the point where you only have one ward on the map. Of course, there are situations when you're boxed into your base and you can't do anything else, or if the enemy team got a puzzle box or a bounder or anything like that. But in a game like this, it's under all what do you say, critics.
it's. Sorry, start that sentence again. Maybe I can.
No, it doesn't matter. Like, or I mean, it's under all. Wait, I can search for it. Damn.
Oh. Legion asking, or Hellborn asking for a pause, so that will go through, and Flux coming right back. Oh, the wonder of auto skip pause. Engineer Illusion actually killing the ward there. It's always nice.
Yep.
It's like
Congress should be up.
Yeah, they're going to push in middle a little bit. I don't know if this is going to be a concerted effort or just let's push these Belanes back so we can take a free Congress. I would hope it's the latter, because they really cannot break base right now. All ultimates available from the Legion side and from the Hellborn side, so.
Yeah, I just can't believe that the Hellborn team actually is letting the Legion team farm like this.
Yeah.
There's no need whatsoever to have a both an Ophelia and Magnus, for example, push this lane. And now, I mean, no, never mind, that's an illusion from Engineer, but they should spread up. Magnus should never be seen on the lane. Not with that shift stick, he should just constantly be in the shadows and try to get pickups. Like, he could have gotten a double tap almost in the middle. Like, that's how much his magic damage his ultimate does at the moment.
I'm guessing that wouldn't have killed either of them by himself.
No, probably not, but like if he would have had someone else, like with the Flux, I mean, I'm pretty sure together with the Sheep, I mean, there's no way that the Kraken and the Pharaoh can kill him, so I think his team would have been able to get there before any of them could have escaped it, at least that's more or less my point. But yeah, no, probably not going to be able to solo kill.
A Pharaoh and a Kraken, both of them are pretty beefy, and Pharaoh's got Festman's Kraken has Shrunken Head, so another thing to note, both Kraken and Solstice are picking up Shrunken's. Tempest has one as well, so they're starting to come out on this Legion side. Looks like Pharaoh's working on one of his own, and as mentioned much earlier in the game, a lot of magic damage on the Hellborn team, and they've only accentuated that since the game started. You know, see the sheep stick up on Magnus, that's not going to be very helpful. Anyway, Kraken gonna miss the charge. They do deny the tier 3 tower. And so base push at this point. They've lost nothing on the Hellborn side. Back off, go kill Kongor, who should be back up in a matter of seconds, and then get Rax.
Alright, so as Legion, I would say that you should focus Ophelia, like they were trying to do. Either him or Engineer is main priority, and for the Hellborn team, I would focus the Tempest at all times, as well as try to cancel the Soulsender ultimate, obviously, but that comes later. Does it? Yeah, you can actually, like, when he's ultimating, you can just push him away with the Flux ultimate, can't you?
The Soulstealer? I believe so, yes. Nope, Flux gonna get caught out here by the Wrath of the Pharaoh, but actually Pharaoh very, very far relative to his team. They do get Tempest ultimate onto 2, release the Kraken to be there, but the pushbook's away, and I'm not sure if they're gonna get anybody out of this. Ophelia is gonna die. She gets her ulti up though in the background. Actually, Rhapsody doing a lot with her ulti, will finally be cancelled by the Keg stun as Flux dies. Here comes the ultimate from Magnus, and the Shrunken Heads have started to wear off. That's gonna be a genocide in favor of the Hellborn team, as that was ridiculously sloppy play from the Legion team. That was just...
They have been patiently waiting for the last 15 minutes in this game, trying to farm up their BKBs. Then they just run out and do that. I mean,
yeah, I'm sorry, but Cat Lomain, that was an awful decision. Anyway, they're going to buy back here on a number of heroes. Kraken going to eat the sheep stick as the mummy wolves are there, but a pushbook out, and Magma should be fine. Yeah, she stuns back in as they're going to turn this onto Pharaoh. He dies. They cannot kill the Magma sitting in the steam bath. Actually, Marcus White going to be in a lot of trouble as he has no escape mechanism, and Shrunken is still on cooldown. So his buyback is not only useless, he dies again. And this is going to be bot Rax, and I would imagine the game...
The Legion barracks are liquidated.
Yeah, I don't know why they're not conceding yet.
Barracks are liquidated.
Like, I guess they're hoping for the wombo combo with Tempest and Soulstealer, but it doesn't matter. I mean, the entire ultimate is gonna be absorbed by the barrier idol anyway. And I mean, when Magnus is sitting on a sheep stick 35 minutes into the game, and you have literally nothing yourself, like, what's the point?
And if you're gonna do stuff like they just did, then it doesn't really matter what else happens, because you're not going to win a lot of games playing like that. I don't know, that's interesting. It's kind of disappointing too, because this Coollo team has a fair bit of talent on it. I mean, you look at the names, and you're like, these are well-known players who have some pretty good competitive history and a fair degree of success as well, so it's not like This is a completely noobish team. In fact, if you'd expect inexperience from anybody, it's HoN Factory, who have players you may not recognize all that much, but some solid mid-tier names, and guys who have hung on the Gold Division for a while.
I remember a few names, but nothing really that sticks out, you know. So, yeah, I would have expected Coollo to take this 2-0 if I were looking at like the rosters.
Right. And actually, HoN Factory did come up from Silver Division too, so the brackets predicting a 2-0 win as well, I would say. Yeah, Playmaker did. I think he played in CIC. I've got data on him somewhere. There's something that I have from him. He played in some event that he's definitely got stats from something. Baby B Kid, been hanging around, American player, and Stupid Stu is Art of Fa, who actually used to play for Frogno Hippo, which is a Gold Division / Silver Division team. If they can actually field 5, they could get to Gold and stay there, but they have issues with their roster. And I was told actually they're using 2 ringers for this series as well, so the fact that they're winning this game, perhaps even more impressive considering this is not their 5-man. Anyway, Energy Field going to drop onto 2. Nice lava surge from Magmus. They get pulled through with the Flux ult. Tempest and Rhapsody get hit by a nicely placed keg, and they get a double tap for that. So use a couple of ultimates, get a couple of kills, and there are no buybacks on either of those heroes. So there should be Mirax.
Yep.
And I don't understand why Coollo stole this game.
No, there's not too much to say at this point. Like, what are they trying to, or what are they hoping for here? It's another 30 seconds until Tempest gets up, and they can't do absolutely nothing without his presence. So yeah, come on.
Even with him, I don't think they can do. I mean, what's a 325 GPM Soul Slayer to do?
I don't know. I think that Hellborn team should just group up as 5 people and just bait the ultimate, because they're not gonna die anyways.
I'm going to take out Midrax, perhaps transition to top. Souls are actually using the portal key offensively, and both of them just kind of like looking at each other, going...
Oh, come on, Hellborn team, don't man down, just go top.
Just go kill stuff. I guess they're going for the Kongor. I don't know why, they really don't need to.
No.
I mean, it's not, they can take this for free, so it is the safe play. So from a purely, like, strategic perspective, this is the right thing to do, but it is kind of pointless.
Kind of pointless. Seems like Legion team is gonna make one last stand here. Soulster's not quite there yet, and he's like 40% HP.
And there we go, Catwalmane jumping way ahead of the rest of his team, putting the mummy walls down, and he's gonna get killed.
Okay, well, that's one way to do it.
Thank you, Thai announcer, for saying again and again and again, because that does seem like it's happening again and again and again. Anyway, Flux field and Energy field, Tempest ultimate, lock people down, no real damage. Elise Kraken finally goes through. They will be able to kill Pink on the Flux. Here comes Bretchkag, gonna be able to take out Marcus Wentz. Soul to the right, Ophelia should be able to get away as the eruption finishes off Tempest, and that's the game. So, well, it's a good thing they stuck in that game for another 10 or 15 minutes and did that, because it was clearly very important to them that they lose slightly more time. But I don't know, have you any final thoughts on that game?
Not really. It seemed like the Hellborn team was kind of treating it as a team matchmaking game in the end as well. They were jumping around, having a bit of fun, Flux pulling his allies, but yeah, they obviously knew that they were so far ahead, and no, not much to say. I mean, out-drafted, I would say, in a way. They had way too defensive lineup, or not too defensive lineup, but they had a way too weak lineup. They had nothing to be afraid of in the early game, like absolutely zero presence, like no solid stuns, nothing like that. I mean, Kraken is dependent on his pull key before he can actually do something. So is the Tempest, or like he's depending on level 7 or level 6 at least. Soulstealer obviously can't do anything. Yeah, Pharaoh is level 6 as well, so good call by the Hellborn team to go for the man up. Came out winning.
Yeah. And well played to them, allowing the Legion side to smash their heads into the wall repeatedly in that mid-game. I felt like Legion did fine in the laning phase, and their draft would have worked if they had executed it decently. But all that mid-game fighting, when they didn't seem like they're coordinated. It didn't seem like they really had anything to do, and they just kept trying to take fights, and they shouldn't have. And I think we talked about that plenty, but it was a good call from your part, just to say, why are you doing this? Stop doing this, please, for the love of Christ. Go farm. It's not working, and you keep... Oh, God, it's frustrating. Anyway, Coollo, perhaps we can see them do a little bit better in Game 2, and Hot Fluff Factory going to take a 1-0 series lead that they have to be pretty happy about, considering the seeding coming into this cycle. And that'll do it. Move on to Game 2 in just a moment.